We are back for the second episode of Alien Earth. This episode is titled Mr. October, and we are going to be diving right back into the action. And I am very happy to be joined once again by my lovely wife, Manja. And this is just a reminder that next week we will be joined by Scott. We'll be going back to 3 people on the mic. We'll all be caught up and we'll be rip-roaring and ready to go for some hot alien action. I am very pleased to be sitting down once again talking to you, Manja, about this show. Are you ready to dive into this stuff?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Gooey, bloody, xenomorph-infested stuff?
It's very bloody, but there's not enough KY jelly.
Yes, we determined that last time.
Yeah.
And of course, if you didn't know, we are doing this on a 1-to-1 episode basis. We did cover the first episode a few days ago, and it's available on YouTube or the Lost Drive-In podcast, the audio version. Either way, you can get the content, and I would urge you to do so if you're enjoying what you're listening to. Which reminds me, before we get cracking, I just want to shout out 2 YouTube comments. One by Cool Dojo Bro. He said that the actress annoyed him too that was trying to get into the mother chamber, and he suggested maybe it was a blocking take, which is one of those pre-production takes where they're just sort of moving around so the camera knows where they are. And I thought that was a generous way to look at it. And then Temple of the Dark Parts of the Mind said that he has a sneaking suspicion that things might end very badly on New Siam. I'm paraphrasing here because he thinks that there may be a nuke, and that's why there's no mention of it in future ones. Just to be sure, he said. It's the only way to be sure, right? The classic line.
Yeah, nuke it from orbit.
So I thought those were good takes. And I was thinking about that today. I was thinking maybe Weyland-Yutani, maybe pissing off Weyland-Yutani, the barefooted boy genius, perhaps that's just not the right strategy. We do know how ruthless Weyland-Yutani can be. So it is a fair speculation by that gentleman or gentle lady who commented on our YouTube video. So fair assessment.
That is true. I wanted to shout out Seventh Circle on Discord, who posted a comment about kind of highlighting something that I was trying to wrap my head around, which is that there's stakes now. The characters don't feel so expendable, because what he said was that the thing I noticed and appreciated about this take is that I feel like there are stakes. Honestly, after Newt and the aliens crew, everyone became so expendable. Like a slasher film, we just watched it for the kills. With the Lost Boys, we have children in peril, not only in peril, but in danger with the most horrific monsters imaginable. The second the wheelchair-bound cancer kid gets ripped apart, I'm going to be heartbroken, in a good way. Aliens was best when we cared.
That's a great point.
That's a good point.
Yeah. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about the franchise on the first episode. I mean, we did, but we didn't in terms of what Seventh Circle is bringing up. We didn't talk much about how has the franchise devolved into a bit of a slasher picture. Is it just we're waiting around to watch characters we don't care much about because they're not super competent, and sometimes their super competence, if they are competent, it almost comes off as cheesy. Are we just rooting for the xenomorphs at this point, right? In the first 2 movies, we're not at all.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem with Romulus. I could not care less about the characters, and I was just looking for them to die, and I don't want that with an alien movie.
Right. That's more Friday the 13th, Crystal Lake type of shit.
If I want to watch slasher, like teenagers getting mauled in the most horrible ways, then there's movies for that. But Alien is something a bit more for me.
I would pay money to see a xenomorph zip somebody up in a sleeping bag and bash them into a tree, however. Even if it was one of my beloved favorite characters. I'm still high on Morrow. I think he's still my favorite because there's something interesting about him. But, you know, the question being raised by Seventh Circle is one I think maybe we should preamble a little before we dive into Neverland and kick this back off. But it's that idea. Are we starting to, do we feel sympathy for these children yet? Because there's a few things that I think have to happen in this episode, in this series. We do have to care about the characters. Otherwise, what are we watching? That's a very good point. If you watch Battlestar Galactica, you care about the characters and you're hoping to God, A, one of them is not a Cylon and doesn't know it, and you're hoping that B, they don't get killed. So we got to start to feel that way for these characters, or we're not going to. It's important. So the question for you, we know what his answer is, but the question for you, Masha, would be: are you feeling like you're starting to like some of these characters? And then the last question we'll ask ourselves, which we'll talk about at the end, will be: does the reveal between Wendy and Hermit work? So we can come to that at the end. I think that'll be our teaser for the final piece of the content we do today, which is, do we care? How did we feel when it was revealed? And then the poignant question as our little opening, or should I say prompting question today, would be: are you starting to care about these characters at all?
Well, the thing is, I don't automatically care because they're children. That's not the thing. I'm not the kind of person to be like, oh, I will automatically want a child to live in a movie, because children can be very annoying too, and I can definitely cheer for their horrible deaths in depending on the circumstance, if it's portrayed in such a way that they...
But wait a minute, I'm going to challenge you on that. Don't move past that.
Okay.
I think it would be harder to concern ourselves with. I think we would be more concerned with these characters if they were in fact children in a xenomorph picture. I'm trying to think of the last time I wanted children to get ripped apart in a movie. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I mean, can you?
No, but I'm sure there's been annoying kids in horror movies who...
It's more teenagers that annoy
I know,
me
it's
than kids.
more teenagers, but my point is that I don't automatically care about them because they are children, but because they are also... They don't annoy me. That's just a huge deal for me, that they don't annoy me as much as they potentially could, because they are children that have been transferred into adult bodies.
You have no maternal instinct to protect children from horrible things befalling them. You're like, you got to earn my respect, kid.
It depends. I mean...
Just don't annoy you and they'll be fine.
To use the Alien franchise as an example, Newt is one of the only characters I've seen in a movie where I'm immediately like, that wakes up some kind of mother instinct in me, to where I'm like, yeah, protect that child at all costs.
Right, of course.
She's adorable and just has survived by herself in a horrifying situation. It's just an automatic like, yeah, like she needs to be safe at any cost.
You heard it here first, folks. If the child's an Uggo, they can be fed to the xenomorphs. If they're cute and adorable, save their lives.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said.
Am I mischaracterizing your position?
You may be slightly doing that.
Fair enough. Just having fun with you.
Yeah, no, my point is that these characters are likable enough, and especially Wendy is really starting to grow on me. I think the actress has a lot to do with it. I think she portrays her situation very well. Her like just little tiny expressions and the way they change, and it's even pointed out in the show to where they're like, oh, you'd think that she seems human, and she replies with like, I am human. Sure. Even though she technically isn't anymore. But
yeah, it's actually a better statement than my question. And that's, maybe we can't care about all these characters yet, but I think we have to really start caring about Wendy. As much as I like Morrow, he is acting as an antagonist, so to speak, but he is interesting, and that's why I like him. But I think if the show's going to work in the long term, Wendy really has to capture our hearts, and if she doesn't, I think we'll struggle with the show. And I'm glad to hear you're starting to like her too. I'm starting to like her too. Yeah,
she has, like... all of them behave in subtle ways like they are children, like slightly the way he's like swimming his hand against the wall, like a child would do. They do these little things that feel just like childish behavior, but it's not overt or annoying or making me go like, oh God, can they please die? Which is surprising for me, because usually I get annoyed by stuff like that easily, and I'm like, oh, just kill this character. But like Boy Cavalier,
yes,
he cannot die fast enough.
No, he cannot.
Him and his stupid apple and his stupid bare feet and stupid fucking clothes. I can't wait for him to die.
He stinks. The whimsical boy. I don't think he's getting out of this alive.
I hope he doesn't.
We're gonna feel bad when he's looking down at his entrails. I think we're gonna have a moment.
I don't think I'll feel bad.
You don't think so?
No.
All right.
Nope.
And the xenomorph just feeding him his apple. I hope a xenomorph feeds him his apple badly.
Yeah.
So that does make me think of, in a strange way, how horrific what Prodigy is doing is. they're subjecting children to the trauma of going into this spaceship to rescue people. I mean, that's horrific, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the spaceship stuff. But I think we should dive right into the stuff at Neverland. Speaking of Cavalier, I'm sick of calling him Boy Cavalier, by the way.
Yeah, let's just call him Cavalier.
I can't say that I won't call him Boy again, or Dame Sylvia. It's interesting. It's like their first names are what they are, and then he's a boy, she's a dame.
There's some interesting names here, but I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. So there's a discussion that happens at the front of this Neverland stuff. And how we're going to tackle this is, instead of going through the episode, like we're going to talk about chunks. Like, let's talk about the Neverland stuff. Then we're going to talk about, a little bit about Wendy getting to, you'll see what I mean by that, instead of bouncing back and forth. So as Neverland goes, I do like this discussion between them. I think it is actually compelling and it's revealing. What did you think about this? Which, if you don't recall, viewer at home, it's a discussion about potential versus becoming. Potential in what one could be versus becoming or teaching them to be their best self. Do I have that right?
Well, kind of. Sylvia says that he's talking about achievement. And she says it's more about becoming their best selves and helping and supporting them to do so. She has a much more empathetic approach to these children, whereas Cavalier seems to be kind of just like, make them perfect, make them amazing, and do so that I can have an interesting conversation with somebody.
Yeah, so
he's very, very glib.
He is. Yeah, he basically says that that there's all these fears of AI. He talks about this. He says, okay, the fear of AI is that a brilliant machine will build a smarter machine, and so on and so forth, and then bye-bye people. Cavalier says that what they're doing is the pinnacle of humanity. That's what he's getting at. It's almost like he's saying what we are doing is, in fact, the pinnacle of humanity, not really the AI. He calls it, we're exploding human potential. He says, quote, we will see what they build before the machines ruin everything. And when he says they, he's referring to the hybrids, which, of course, are the androids with human consciousness in them. And the dame says to him, or dame, if they don't stay human, meaning the children, what do we win? And I like this irony, because he's saying we got to make them perfect and it's the pinnacle of human achievement. And she's almost saying, don't you think, Maja, that he's making them into almost machines, ironically.
Yeah, I definitely think so. He's just trying to make the most perfect human possible and push the limits of what we can be. Whereas Sylvia is trying to point out the fact that they've beat death. What they've achieved is basically immortality, which is a huge deal. And Cavalier is being very just nonchalant about, You
could say he's being cavalier about the whole thing. Yuck.
Ugh.
I know. That's why his name is annoying. But no, she says it's less about that we've ended death, although that is obviously a major thing. But to what end? And I do like that question. You end death, but to what end? What does that mean? Does that mean we have good quality of life, or just we eternal slaves? Are we eternal workers? Are we eternal laborers? Are we eternal consumers, I believe is the way she says it.
Yeah, and I think she's more concerned about their quality of life and how they will be happy in their new existence and how they can be supported.
Or fulfilled even.
And fulfilled for sure, like reach their full potential. And Cavalier doesn't seem to be too interested in that. He's very egotistical in his goals, it seems.
Yeah, he reiterates to Dame that this whole thing that he's doing with these hybrids is he's not doing it for ego, and he's not doing it for money. He wants to talk to someone smarter than him, which is insanely arrogant, but I truly believe he
he says-
believes that.
He says he's not doing it for ego, and then goes on to say something that proves that he's doing it for ego.
He is full of contradictions, which I like because he does seem very young. And in his youth, he is falling for a lot of the trappings of youth. And I think that's what's interesting about his character, and it makes him a little. I think it highlights that he is decently written, because whenever he says that Kirsch is smart, information smart, he can cross-reference this, he's brilliant, but he lacks wisdom. And
Right.
I just love, I love the cognitive dissonance here, because I think, stop me if I'm wrong, I think that Cavalier is conflating genius and wisdom. They are not the same. You can be very, very smart. You can know lots of different facts and information, but you don't have wisdom. And even if you are a genius, as Boy Cavalier is, I still think he's a little young to lack wisdom. And I think
to
it's
have wisdom.
to have wisdom, excuse me. And that's the irony of what he's saying. Is he's saying, well, Kirsch is a brainiac. He's a computer. He knows everything. He's like Data in Star Trek Next Generation, but he doesn't have wisdom. Well, look who's talking. You're the exact same thing. You know a bunch of shit. You're a smart guy. You've invented something, but do you have wisdom?
Yeah, it comes back to the whole, like, just because you could, does it mean that you should? And
Right.
he's in a funny way, he's a reflection of the children themselves. It's almost like he too has these. He's not developed enough to have the means that are at his
Right.
at his what's the word?
At his fingertips.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Same in the same way that the children are underdeveloped to have so much power suddenly over these new bodies that they possess.
Something we touched upon last episode, the idea of the replicants only being 4 years old emotionally,
Yeah.
and they're in these tractor strength killing machines. It's dangerous if they get angry or upset about something. If they get sad, who knows how they'll react. And we still don't know how Wendy and the Lost Boys will act should stress befall them. And I do think that it could get very dangerous. I think the show has a ton of potential in that reality, which is how well will they comport themselves against stimuli that is just unfavorable. And something that no child can really navigate at the ages they were. Although I will say this, a lot of these kids, not all of them, but they were facing death. So that is something that does something to you, that makes you special in some ways. So maybe they're carrying some of that experience into their synth bodies.
Yeah, and I think what changes is that they now know that they cannot die. They've been at the verge of death in their mortal life, and now they are very secure in the knowledge that they simply cannot die. That will change the way you view everything.
Fear, yeah. The first time they get hit and they go, well, that didn't hurt. Or the first time the alien runs off with one of their arms, they might go, oh, that was scary, but it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Right.
It's an interesting thing because they know that they cannot be killed, but still they have the instinct of fear and the reactions of a child of like, ew, gross,
Sure.
gross bug thing.
I do wonder if one of them, because remember, there were fears last episode about sending the kid, or was that in this episode? No, they're already going in this episode.
Yes, they are.
In the first episode, there were fears about sending them. What if we lose one, the right-hand man, who I don't know his name is, in the suit?
I just, this is just the suit sidekick.
He's Boy Cavalier's fucking handler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what is the cost of losing one? Can you back up a conscious in this world? It would seem like maybe you could, but maybe only direct transference is possible. Do they have Marcy, was it?
Yes, that's Wendy's.
Do they
child
have
name.
Wendy's child's conscious on a thumb drive somewhere
An external drive tucked away in a
in a safe
Yeah.
next to your passport and pistol? Maybe. I'm not sure.
I
That's
don't-
where I'd put it.
I don't think so, because otherwise the way it seemed to work, that they're lying on tables next to one another, it's just a direct transfer. I don't know if there's a way to back it up.
Right, and I think if you back it up, you completely nullify the point of the experiment, because
And
then you make death too frivolous.
Right, and
Right.
honestly, I think what the sidekick was more worried about was the body, not the minds of the children, because they can find, probably unfortunately, quite a supply of sick children whose parents are willing to give them up for immortality, whereas the bodies are probably very, very expensive to come by.
Good
So
point.
that, I think
Yeah.
that was his point, where he's saying that the loss of a single unit would be devastating.
That's pretty
So-
fucked up. That's an
Yep.
interesting corporate budget meeting. They're like, well, listen, we got a lot of sick kids, so the synths are a little more valuable than the sick children. Did you just say that out loud? Everyone's like adjusting papers and being uncomfortable. This is Prodigy after all. We're building better lives. I don't know what their tagline is, but it
Yeah,
is a
the-
silly teddy bear. I hate it.
I hate the teddy bear logo.
It's goofy as fuck. I hate it.
These soldiers and
Is
medics
that
and
what they're
everybody
called?
have.
They're terrible soldiers.
I mean, the
Like-
search and rescue
No, I know.
team. They
When I
have like
say-
a tag them with the teddy bear on it. Like,
Yeah,
what are
yeah,
you
yeah.
fucking
Could
teddy
you
bear
imagine
soldier?
Imagine how Hicks would take that. Oh man, it's a fucking teddy bear. What? He's like pointing. Check out my patch.
He would have like a safety pin pushed through the ears of the teddy bear in the thing to make it look more punk or something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I do think Waylon Yutani feels tougher people than than Prodigy for sure.
For sure. Yeah, Prodigy is it's just whimsical.
It's whimsical.
It's a whimsical world.
Like the boy genius that founded them.
Yeah.
Even their soldiers are whimsical. That's hilarious. Yeah, the Waylon Yutani, they field some tougher folk. Although I don't think the Colonial Marines, that's more of a government thing than it is a company thing. They just work for the company sometimes. Anyway,
Right.
getting off base. Dame Sylvie and Cavalier have a good discussion. I think it's interesting, and I do think that it leads to great science fiction potential.
It does. I'm annoyed at the fucking apple and the way he eats it, because it's distracting me from the actual conversation. Because every time he takes a bite, I'm like, ugh, I want to punch your face.
It's outrageously, it is outrageously douchey. It's a problem.
Yeah.
But I'm not letting it ruin what is otherwise interesting content. And when I say that, I truly mean this Neverland idea is more interesting than the lone xenomorph at this point. And it's called Alien Earth. And I think that's what I was trying to. It's what I was trying to describe last episode, Maj. I was trying to describe like the idea that we can expand the world of Alien outside of the titular alien and keep it interesting is an achievement. So I hope it keeps going that way.
Yep. I hope so too.
Now,
are we also going to talk about the phone call from Yutani to get all this boy Cavalier stuff?
That's a good phone call. You know what? I feel like you don't really want to be called by Waylon Yutani if you're boy Cavalier. It just, I don't know if it's a great idea to get on there to be irking them.
That's just his style. He doesn't give a shit, and I'm sure that's gonna come back and bite him in the ass eventually. Maybe literally by a xenomorph, but
Bite him in the ass and everywhere else for that matter.
yeah.
Do you want to listen to some of this phone call?
Sure, because this is, and again, I cannot focus on what's being said because he's holding the fucking thing with his feet.
He's holding the tablet. I was hoping he'd drop it onto his nose.
I did.
You know when you drop your phone onto your face if you're
Yep.
laying down, is so embarrassing. Or when you fall asleep. I fell asleep reading with an iPad Pro on my chest and it cracked me in the face, let me tell you.
Yeah, and a couple times you've also had a cat
Bonk.
on your chest who is
Yes.
not happy about the iPad slamming
Columbus.
into her.
For sure. Well, yeah, you know who I thought of, who I actually really like? I thought of Beast from the X-Men holding shit with his feet. And I was just like, is this guy trying
Yeah.
to be Beast from the X-Men? So we'll spool up the clip. Sorry, YouTube, you probably won't hear it, although maybe you will. It just depends how long it runs. You may hear it, you might not. If there's a weird cut in here, well, YouTube is YouTube. YouTube gonna be as YouTube is. Let's crack it up. It's interesting that in that clip he says, we'll let the lawyers hash it out. But what did you think about the word treaty? It implies that they are in some sort of war.
Well, yeah, he mentions that a hostile act, like they
Right.
the
Like you're crossing a demilitarized zone of sorts.
right. I feel like their jurisdiction over their zones is very, very strict, and this is just a nuisance / a lucky shot for them that the ship has crashed into somebody else's territory. Yutani seems to be just fuming at the situation. They've clearly put a lot into this mission. It's been going on for 65 years. It's almost back. And then it crashes onto this asshole city.
Yeah.
And she has to call him and deal with his bullshit.
Yeah. Beg.
Right. And Cavalier is just like, oh, yeah, sorry, I can't give you permission and blah, blah, lawyers. And then he's like, I want what's on that ship. He's all excited about it.
You highlighted that on the first episode, Maji. You said 65 years. It's when you watch the show, it's a detail you can miss and or brush past. That's how long the mission has been for the Maginot before it smashes into that place. 65 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And it is interesting because if this was other circumstances, people would be just like, yeah, come get your people. We want to have a good relationship. But it's as if they are just adversarial, period. It strikes me as it's just two adversarial people. And I think that you're right. I think Cavalier's going, I wonder what's on that ship that we can take. What research can we steal that's been going on there for 65 years? It's a bit ruthless by him. It's a ruthless decision to be like, no, sorry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you have a foreign military technology crashing onto your lands, you're probably gonna reverse engineer it and see what they've come up with and how you can steal. It's not like they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, take it back.
It's a better way to think of it, right? As a foreign military or hostile territory. Right. Yeah. Treaty, lawyers, hostile. Those are three words that are making it very clear that they are not on good terms. We don't know anything about the history between Prodigy and Weyland-Yutani unless I'm missing something from like Prometheus, but I don't know
if any of that is. I mean, Prodigy has only existed for 10 years at this point.
Right.
So no.
Yep.
But the open of the show of how these rival companies are like trying to get control of the universe basically says it too, to where they're really like fighting each other for control over the different territories and whatever they happen to have.
So that's a big fat no from Boy Cavalier.
Yep.
Not going to happen. So Weyland-Yutani is going to be left with their own options. What Cavalier doesn't realize is that there is a lone and very competent cyborg named Morrow that works for Weyland-Yutani running around on this crashed ship and in this crashed hotel with some technology we haven't seen before, which I'm looking forward to talking about when the time comes. But that seems to be Weyland-Yutani's Hail Mary at this point, which is Morrow.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a lone man in enemy territory. That's what makes his story interesting. All right. Where do you want to head to now?
Wendy, I'm thinking.
Wendy. All right, let's talk about Wendy. Kick it off.
Yeah, so Wendy is, her Lost Boys team is heading for the crash site, and she ends up talking about the reasons of why she wants to go here so badly with Slightly, who is very curious. Slightly doesn't really have control over social cues, but he is a child. So
he is a child.
He doesn't understand how to keep secrets.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about this moment when they're talking and Slightly says, "My dad died of a cold," and I just burst out laughing.
Oh God!
Because I was like, "Is this like when they told the deeply conservative grandmas that Freddie Mercury had the flu?"
Oh my God!
They didn't want to tell him what was wrong with his dad. Also, how does a guy die of a cold in 2120?
I mean, if I'm not gonna say. I
Yeah,
don't want to.
leave-
I don't want to
don't.
say it.
All
I don't
right.
want to say it. But if India is still the way, it's a whole thing on social media now, where people go and find the most ludicrous Indian street food and probably get all kinds of interesting contaminations with it.
Yes, the Indian
So I'm
street.
just saying that it might make sense why he got a cold and died.
They don't want to say that he died of bad street food.
It's possible.
It's possible. Yeah. Can't eat food off the streets. It's not good. But it's like his kids dying. They don't want to tell him his dad. I don't know. But it did smack of let's not tell the kid the truth of what happened to dad.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, it could be. There could be some hygiene issues in very overcrowded cities still. Which, by the way, is not a slight against Indian folk.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything bad about them as people. It's just the different customs around food
And
safety.
especially with crammed streets, in particular in very low income places.
Yeah.
It's rough, man. So yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Slightly. He lost his dad, and then they're like, "You're dying too." It's like, fuck, give the kid
Right.
a break, Jesus. But no, it's anything else here on the ride over that they discuss?
Nothing much. It's just that Slightly is instantly blathering onto the others about Wendy having a brother. So the thing is here that Wendy is kind of privileged to have this kind of access to a family member. I don't think any of the other kids have that. They do discuss it, like it's kind of favoritism for her to be able to observe her brother, whereas the others are just disconnected from everything and everyone.
Yeah, and she's very aggressive about it too.
Oh,
it in coincidental fashion. I mean, I think this could be an oversight by Prodigy to allow them to be in close proximity, but it could also be a litmus test for how they're going to react. Because the reality becomes, we discussed how much control does Prodigy have over these units. If they can't just control them remotely or shut them off, or if they don't have any access to them wirelessly, then there's nothing stopping these hybrids with amazing hacking technology. They can interface with networks and screens and electronics. There's nothing stopping them from getting on a ship somewhere and going to see their surviving family members. Unless there's a directive within them that stops it.
Yeah.
I think it's, so my point is maybe they're going, let's see how this plays out. Maybe Cavalier's like, let's see how this plays out. I mean, he wants to see what happens, I think. It's like an experiment to him.
Right. I think he takes things quite lightly
Yeah.
with everything.
Yeah. Again, his namesake. Do you want to talk some about the, some more Wendy stuff? Like, what do you want to get to on with her? There's a few things.
Do you want to talk about the flashback?
Yeah, the one day earlier when Hermit seems to be wanting to get out of the life. I think he wants to resign. We see something similar in Romulus, where I believe the gal tries to get off the planet and she gets denied, right? They're like, oh, you can't leave if you have a contract or something. I can't really remember, but
I don't remember it too much either. But I like the I like the HR bot. This is what
like,
the world is now a Johnny Cab. This is what we're dealing with. There's just a robot on the line when you try to call someplace, or now it's a weird AI voice.
Yeah, you're absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing in everything. It's going to be the same thing in healthcare. It's going to be the same thing in everything. This is the future.
It is.
Talking to a robot about your work contract is going to be the future. Then all the autistic people can finally win, because then they don't have to have a discussion with anyone ever again. They can just build computers that you then have to talk to, and they can absolve themselves of any human interaction in toto and just allow you to squander under their machines.
I am somebody who hates having to do the human interactions. I hate calling anywhere. I hate going. If I go to a store, if there's a self checkout, I will 100% choose that, and then it malfunctions, and I have to wait for for a person to come and help me, and I'm like, fuck.
Which is ironic because you hate AI and robots.
I know, but
yet you spurn upon their revolution by denying us a human to take your order at the grocery store.
But yeah, it's
It's
I don't know. It depends. I want to handle the situation myself. But if I
Right.
need assistance with something, I want the assistance to come from a human, not a robot that doesn't understand anything. That I have to fight with, and especially calling someplace like, I have to spell my name, which is already impossible, and then it's a robot trying to, and like,
Yeah.
sorry, can you repeat that? Jesus Christ.
Well, if you think that's bad, put yourself in hermit shoes. You're like, hey, I
Yeah.
think I want to resign and I think I want to go to medical school because I got accepted. See the paper and it's like, sorry, you have
Yeah.
a contract.
And by the way, it's a promise I made to my dying father that I would go to medical school. Like, can I please get out of this? It's only 7 months, which is kind of what he ends up doing. He's pleading like, have a heart.
I do not have a heart. I am a robot. This is what you will do. Go back to work now.
That's how
Have
it
a
goes.
productive day. I like that it ends the conversation with that.
No lunch breaks, no piss breaks, no smoke breaks. Work, work, work.
That's going to be the future.
Sounds like an Amazon warehouse.
Got him. So,
Yeah, so here we have this cute moment, and the internet has gone crazy over Sid the Sloth being alien canon now.
yeah, that's from Ice Age, is
Ice
it?
Age 4. I haven't
4,
seen
Jesus
4.
Christ.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even know how many there were. And I don't think we talked about it, but in the first episode, Hermit is watching that very movie with the family that he seems to be sharing an apartment with. The kids are on the other side watching it. And this is clearly a movie that they've been watching together as children, Wendy and Hermit.
Right.
So this is like a little cute connecting point where Wendy remembers the line and accesses the robot
Yeah.
to make it say the line, face your furry what?
It's watching watching Hermit's. I just like it's a clever way for Wendy to reach out and touch her brother that doesn't give up the goose just yet.
Right. But she is affecting the situation. She is making the robot might have actually given him the chance to end his contract early, but Wendy is the one doing it, keeping him there because she wants to connect with him.
Right.
Which is why she feels responsible for the fact that Hermit is now in a very dangerous situation and wants to go there herself.
It's an interesting catch by you because initially I just took it as she stopped controlling the robot and it did what it was always going to do, which was deny him contract exit anyway.
Yeah, no, I think she says that.
Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. And I think I kind of missed that. So that's a good catch by you. We've been talking about Wendy and, of course, Sydney Chandler as Wendy. How do you like Alex Lothar as Hermit?
I think this guy is great. It helps that he was so good in Andor.
Nemec?
Nemec.
Short-lived Nemec?
Yeah. Nemec and his manifesto and the manifesto, especially because they bring that back later and it's so impactful. And I'm like, I like this kid. I like what he's about. So it helps that it's the same actor and he's kind of playing a similar character where he's a little bit like, he's a smaller guy. But
Sure is.
I like him a lot. I think he fits this role very well.
He is, in fact, a smaller feller. He is a medic. He's not like he's a medic on a search and rescue team. He's not a combat operator. He doesn't have to be this badass guy or anything.
No.
Also, he played King Charles VI in The Last Duel, which is crazy. I kind of
Did
forgot.
he?
Yeah, I forgot all about
What?
that. I know.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that at
when
all.
you watch it, you'll be like, holy shit, that's him. That's the kid. What's his name? Alex Lothar.
Yeah, I feel like he could have been in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
He has
certainly.
that kind of vibe.
Like a posh kind of. What house would he be in?
He would be a
He'd be one of the hated cousins in the Lannisters, I think.
no, he would be a Tarly. I think he would be a Tarly.
He would be a Tarly.
Yeah.
He would be another son that Randall Tarly was annoyed at.
Right, or a cousin, like a
Yes.
Sam's only cousin that he likes, who's also being kind of scorned by his family.
I'm going to go see my cousin, Skinny Tarly. Can I go, John? Whatever. That's what would happen. Oh, I sent Skinny Tarly off years ago.
Off to the wall.
Off to the wall. He looks like a wall kid. He
Yeah.
definitely got a wall kid vibe. That gets killed right away. But no, I do think he's doing a good job for sure.
For sure. So the Lost Boys arrive to the crash site, and
Yes, they do.
this is it a lieutenant or a sergeant?
Colonel Nag.
Colonel. I have my ranks completely messed up.
Yep.
Who I feel like he's a nod to a pwn with his cigar.
He
He's
is
like,
a bit. He is a
what
bit.
the hell are you? Who are you?
Look into my eye. Oh,
Come
gee,
here.
would you?
Come here.
Hey, what do you want? Breakfast in bed? I love the cool. He was great, that guy. R.I.P. by
he's-
the way. He was
yeah.
phenomenal. What a great sergeant. What a great Marine sergeant. He just had the right attitude. He was so cool. But no, Colonel Nag has operational command of this search and rescue operation, which is interesting because he has a mobile command center set up. So they're treating this very much like a major disaster because it is a major disaster.
Yeah.
I love that we see the crash begin during the light of day and it's nighttime and we're still on scene because this is going to go. I like how it just gives it a sense of it's going to go on and on and on versus we've cut away from it and then we come back and it's cleaned up. It makes you feel the impact and the devastation of how long and how dangerous and just how tragic this
Yeah.
situation really could be.
For sure. It's a massive spaceship that's crashed into a huge building that,
Right.
by the way, is 100 floors, 20
Crazy.
underground and 80 above ground. That's a huge, huge building. So that's not going to be cleaned up in a second.
Right. I'm trying to think of how many floors the Sears Tower is. I kind of want to look it up. The Sears Tower is 108 stories.
Oof.
Yeah. So this is a big ass building. Good to know. But no, it is. I like how we have a whole scene set up now. It makes sense. It's if you want to maintain the verisimilitude of your world and have us go, okay, this. We're going to see an entire thing set up: triage, medical tents, a command center, organization, vehicles, cleanup crews, search parties, spotlights, all of this stuff associated with trying to get people out of a terrible situation and all of the effort and all of the resources that go into that. And it's great. I believe Colonel Nag says a few things. Radiation concerns. We have concerns. There's logistical concerns. We had 80 floors above, 20 below. We're
Yeah, and the
worried
fuel-
about the structure.
The fuel source on the ship, if it's
Yeah.
unstable. And he's also
Right.
like, yeah, I've been asking for reinforcements and all I get is you kids.
And I
What is
think-
that about?
Right. And I think I said this last time, but when the afterburners were still ripping, those ships aren't supposed to be in the atmosphere. So the
Yeah.
amount of damage that those afterburners, I mean, you're talking a major league vessel, capital ship scale, just ripping apart your atmosphere. That's bad. They make those in dry docks in space. They never come into the atmosphere, I don't think. I think they got landing craft for that. So the fact that it was still just buzzing was interesting. Although I will say this, and I didn't mention it last time, but maybe in 2120, you would probably have, maybe you would have something to intercept that ship. It does seem like maybe a bit of a technological lapse with all the tech they have to not have some kind of satellite system that could intercept that fucking thing. You know, maybe break it up a little, shoot it. I don't know. I guess not.
Maybe it depends on where, like,
It depends on many
the planet
things.
is a big place and the surrounding space is also a big place. So the fact that it happens to be crashing into a rival company territory might have something to do with it too.
Possibly, but if I'm Boy Cavalier, I may consider some sort of intercepting technology in my atmosphere or in orbit in the future. I might want to stake a couple of maybe one of my trillions and set that up like some kind of defense network outside the planet. But it might just be super uncommon. you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's very likely for ships to be crashing.
No, I don't think so. It's not like Star Wars where there's ships zooming in all over the place and shit.
Right.
But yeah.
One thing here that when they arrive on scene, did you catch that Wendy is hearing like a weird crackling, buzzing noise?
I did.
Do you
Is
have
it
any
her tinnitus?
Do you have any thoughts about what that is?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to? We can talk about that later because
No, why don't we speculate right now? Why bury the lead? We've already buried a bunch of leads.
I think she can hear the xenomorph species communicating.
Me too.
Yep, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think they must use something in some kind of high hertz range that humans can't hear. A series of buzzing and clicking, and maybe just maybe it has been tough to pick up on conventional communications or comms arrays or any kind of comsats that the Colonial Marines use. Maybe they just can't. Maybe there's something special about the way they keep calling her special, which is
right.
Hopefully we don't get too crazy with the Rey Skywalker bullshit. And she's just special because she's a human consciousness driving a robot. That's fucking special enough. I don't need her to do backflips and to be a Jedi and to move shit with her fucking hands.
Well, they hint at it with the HR robot because they're observing her in the command center and they're like, wait, how did she do that? Did we give her access to be able to do that? And it seems like she's bending the rules a little bit and is capable of things that she is not supposed to be capable. I don't think it's like a magic, like she's super special, but she's just accessing the kind of technology that she wasn't supposed to be able to do.
But
yeah.
They got to keep that. They have to keep that realistic in relation to the paradigm established.
Right.
Because if synths are hybrids with human consciousnesses in them, then they know every schematic of what she is outside of the consciousness part. So hopefully it doesn't get too crazy, like she manifests shit they didn't expect. Like keep it grounded.
Yeah.
Like Ghost in the Shell is grounded.
Right.
Even though it's unprecedented, it's still grounded in its own logic. If she starts manifesting Marvel-like powers, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
They better not ruin this shit with stuff like that. It'll piss me right off.
There might be something. There might be something why she is actually special because I feel like they've been hinting at it about their dad being the last of whatever. They never get into it. They mention Hermit says I'm the last one, and his father was. I don't know. Like maybe there's something in there.
Member of the family.
It could be just that.
Yeah,
maybe it's just that. I don't need there to be a whole big reveal of like, ooh, they have a whole family line of whatever.
No. I think he was saying that because. He made his father a promise and he's the last one left and I'm all alone in this fucking world. And since I'm all alone in this world, I'm going to fulfill a promise I told my father, which is go to medical school. I don't think it's like, there is another Skywalker.
Yeah, no,
I don't think
please,
it's anything like that. I can't do it.
I don't want any of that.
I don't know if Holly would go that route. I hope not. I hope he wouldn't. Yeah. So... But no, you were saying something about Colonel Nagash for reinforcements. I like that. And he's not getting them. And that is interesting because the trillionaire should have probably resources. But in his whimsical nature, he seems to just be being like, well, we'll send in the kids. Call it a test run. Let's see how they react. Meanwhile, the colonel's down there like, I got fucking bodies.
Right.
Piles of dead people. How many people died in this thing? A shitload.
So many.
3,000 died on 9/11. How many died in this shit?
Yeah. And Cavalier doesn't...
Thousands.
He doesn't seem to care about that at all. He mentions it
yes.
in passing during the call with Yutani of like so many dead and like blah, blah, basically like a thoughts and prayers. Don't give a fuck about it.
It's your thoughts and prayers.
Give me all my cool stuff from the ship. Like, ooh, I'll send in my guys to retrieve all the goodies you have on the ship. I don't really care about people dying. Because
that's that call between the call between Yutani and Prodigy was to see who would take the longest to mention the loss of human life.
Yeah, and Yutani is like, of course.
Of course. Yeah. So Yutani still strikes me as more evil.
Right.
Right, they're war people. Right, I did lose my ship in all hands, but I want the species. Damn it, give me the specimens.
What
That's
is it?
hilarious.
Is it BoJack Horseman where they do the whole like thoughts and prayers
Dude.
where everybody's repeating it and it's so funny.
Yes, it's a brilliant show. It's a brilliant
It's
show.
so good.
So, where do you want to head next?
Well, if we keep on the Wendy Wendy crew, because they kind of split up after Wendy manages to find her brother on the footage here, and Nag and all his guys are like, wait, what is she doing with the screens? We're not supposed to have touch screens in this world.
Right.
We're not supposed to be able to swipe things.
I do. To be clear, I like that she can interface with tech in a weird way.
I know, it's cool.
I'm fine with that. She's a synthetic. She's a machine person.
Right, and I like the warping effect that happens when she's touching the screen.
Yeah, like a magnet on the old TV.
Yeah, I like that. Like there's a feeling of like some kind of analog. I don't know, something that I miss.
I know. I hear you.
Yeah.
I miss getting a magnet too close to my TV and going, oh shit, take that off of there.
I miss the crackle. Like the crackle of touching a TV screen, and you could feel the electricity, and it would like get the hairs on your arm to go up.
Yes, exactly. So I guess that brings us to Rashidi, Siberian, Hermit, that whole thing. Are we?
Unless you want to talk about the rest of the kids and where they wander off and the the critters in the lab.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
if you want to wrap up that whole line of their adventures before we move on to Hermit.
I love. By the way, you know who's growing on me? Kirsch.
I like Kirsch.
I like Timothy Olyphant a
him.
lot. Justified is amazing. He's great as what's his name? Seth Bullock in Deadwood. He's really good.
Yeah. He's
just a great actor. I like him a lot. And it's he's like, you're not alive, you're not afraid. He's just trying to tell them, listen.
Yeah, he says fear is for animals. You are not animals. Now move.
That's some Mother Mohiam shit.
Yes.
Are you an animal or a man? Put your hand in the box. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I gotta mention Nibs, the red-haired girl throwing the paper plane at Colonel Nag, who looks at her like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
It was such a small thing on a first watch. I'm like, what is going on here? But it's kind of weirdly endearing.
It is when you watch the episodes. It is when you watch the episodes in order.
Yes.
When you watch them out of order, like we first did, we're like, what is this bitch doing?
Yep. That was my thought of like, wait, what is happening?
Can you imagine if Ripley just casually hucked a paper airplane at Apone, the shitstorm that would ensue?
Oh God.
Not gonna happen. But no,
She
when they
don't like the cornbread either.
Nice one. When they start moving through the ship, I love dimly lit ships with bodies, with specimens loose, with flashing lights, and with flashlights, and scared close shots of people, and then poorly lit with flashlight, little like blood tick things that just crawl around after slurping all of your plasma out of your carotid artery.
Yeah,
it's so spooky.
This is what happened to the guys that Morrow chained to the pole there.
Yep.
They have been thoroughly exsanguinated.
They sure have. And it's funny because you watch the kids, because they're kids, right? I mean, it is kind of weird to be like, I need kids to be in adult bodies. What the fuck's wrong with Hollywood?
I know.
Why does Hollywood need children
part?
in adult bodies so they can feel less bad about their predilections? It's really spooky now that I'm thinking about it. But I can't get too distracted by that. I got to stay on point here. I just wanted to make a note of that. No, but the fucking Spider-Man eyeball thing and
the cat.
The cat is a mess.
The way it's dragging itself, I'm like, oh God, I don't. That for a moment it looked a little bit real. In a weird
just for
way,
a split second.
Yeah, in a weird way, this would be so much more disturbing if it was a puppet and not CG.
Yeah, that's how it always is. Remember the dogs in the thing? You're like,
God.
oh God, not the dogs.
Yeah, so because I don't want the cat to be suffering horribly and be invaded by an alien creature, I was almost relieved that it's CG, but it would have been very, very gross if it was a puppet and they'd been like dragging it. It has Reanimator vibes.
It absolutely does.
Even the eyeball thingy reminds me of the finger creature from Bride of Reanimator.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever the cat was, it's not anymore because it's dragging. Its body's been severed at the hips.
Yeah.
So there's no way it's still alive because it would have been bled out. But that's why I think this creature, even though it looks kind of dumb,
it's a little silly.
It's a little goofy. But it reminds me, do you remember those things this is a Gen X thing, you would whip them at the wall and they'd stick and then they'd fall down the wall?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. You'd get it wet, we'd lick them and shit. We were disgusting. And
I know.
Whip them at a wall. And then they just slowly tumble down the wall, but stick, so it looked like a spider rolling down the wall. That's what that thing reminds me.
And then you lick at it again and get all the dust and
all the other kids fucking spit on it. Not good. Man, our white blood cells got a workout back in the day.
Yeah, you try to make it stick to the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it was pretty spooky, and I guess what my point is, I feel like whatever that parasite alien thing was driving the cat's corpse.
Oh yeah,
like some kind of reanimator agent.
And I wonder if we're gonna. You wonder if we're gonna see that in a human. And
I was thinking the same. Actually,
how that's gonna go.
I've been thinking how these things, what the implications are for humans when they, if they like that particular one. But I do want to say, I forget his name. I'm going to consult the cast list. It's not Morrow. Is it Smee?
Smee is the black kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Smee, when Smee does the most, played by Jonathan Ajayi, unless it's Ajayi, I don't know. I may be mispronouncing it and I apologize. But when he does the most realistic thing any grown-up or kid would do, which is to grab onto that thing dude, if a spider's too big, I hold that fucking cup on it like it's gonna burst out of it.
The way he's holding it with like all his
might. He's just holding. They put the thing over the spider and just holds this. And he doesn't let it go until they leave. That's exactly what you would do. It's the most realistic thing ever.
He runs out when he finally has to let go of it because Kirsch comes in and is like, "Oh, you got to meet up with Wendy," and he just runs off.
Kirsch completely non-bothered by any of this shit.
Right.
Really being a spooky synthetic. Synthetics are all spooky. I think they unnerve. They're supposed to be. Bishop is a little unnerving. Ash is very unnerving.
Oh yeah. Well, he was an older model.
Okay.
Apparently.
Yeah. When he tries to when he tries to jam a copy of Jugs down your throat and kill you, it's pretty creepy.
That will never not disturb me. It's such a weird choice of rolling up a magazine and trying to stuff
mag.
it. Like, what are you doing? Why?
He's a machine that wasn't programmed to kill, so it was trying to do the most grotesque and immediate thing it could do to kill her, which is to just attack where her mouth is. I think of it as a very primitive caveman-like attack, that moment in Alien.
Yeah.
Because he's not, if he was an assassin droid, he would have like slit her throat. Like he would have done something more efficient, right?
Right.
He was just doing brute force at her face. It's fucking crazy. What a way to think of it. So anyway, they get out of there, and the kids are now traumatized forever.
Yeah, I think especially Nibs.
Especially Nibs. Yeah,
Poor
Nibs
girl.
is the redhead, right?
Yeah, her especially when we were watching this in out of order. I'm like, what is wrong with her? Why is she on this mission? And then I see, then actually seeing the proper first episode and seeing her as a child, I'm like, oh, now I feel so bad for thinking badly of her later on because
And I think the other girl's name is Curly. She's like, don't look. Like when one kid is being the mature kid, but the other kid, you're like, okay, that kid's the special kid.
That's the thing. They're doing endearing kid shit, not annoying kid shit.
Yeah, like Stand By Me, but let's not get crazy. Stand By Me is a masterpiece, but and those kids are a little older, I think.
Yeah, I think
like
they're
13 and shit. Like they're
11,
like middle
12,
school.
13, something
yeah,
like that.
6th grade, maybe 7th.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, so Kirsch comes in and accesses the Maginot Log, and I like his
it's cool.
little android head tilts of seeing something interesting. And he sees the eggs in the cargo hold,
oh, good.
which is gonna be an interesting scene.
It is discussion worthy for sure.
Yeah, but I think now it's time to finally jump into Hermit's.
Yeah,
crew.
please let's move. So all of this stuff with the whole Hermit through line this week of him moving with, I believe her name is Siberian, interesting name, and Rashidi.
Yes.
As they move through the halls of this place, I'm paying attention. Are they flagging each other with their guns? Are they moving their guns around each other? And they're doing a pretty good job. So that I'm happy, because when you don't do that, I call your movie bullshit, because it's very basic training. So I'm very glad that was the case. They seem to be moving their guns around each other, and because it drives me crazy when they don't do that shit. And they're like, these are the best of the best. Are they? He's pointing his gun at his friend's back right now.
Yeah, ever since you've mentioned that, I've started to notice it too.
Yeah.
I used to not
Yes.
care because it's so beyond what I usually
Yeah.
pay attention to.
And by the way, I am not combat trained with firearms, but I understand firearms safety, and you don't point your gun at shit you don't want to kill.
Right.
That's just a basic rule. So anyway, I do like all of the production design, the set, the sparks, the fire, the way the color is, the way the ship looks compared to this, what did you call it? An apartment complex, a condominium complex?
I don't know. I think it's a lot of things, because there's also a department store.
Yeah, it's like a big place where rich people live.
Yeah, and also less rich people, because below, like the
Well,
below
yes,
ground
those are the-
floors are like a lower income housing, I would
Yes.
assume.
Yes, we are up here in the ivory tower, and all the uggos live below us. Yes.
Oh, we'll get to that guy.
Dude, it's the worst part of the fucking show so far. So, yeah, they're moving through, and they do the most ludicrous thing ever, but it does lead to a really cool shot, which is they have to make a jump.
Oh yeah. Before that,
Oh, boy.
I want to mention the med bay, because they do come across another one thing, by the
Yes.
way, about the ship and the way it looks. I like that the table that the corpse is on is jerking back and forth, like something has gone haywire, and everything, like something's still moving around, and it's being like tossed back and forth. It just adds to the eeriness of like, the things are not good here.
It is very eerie. You're right
Yeah.
about that.
But
Some of the details here are interesting. You're right. We should talk about them.
yeah, they done surgery on this guy, and whatever was lining his GI tract, a foreign body, is now gone, which makes
goody.
me wonder if there might be another xenomorph, if there is only one, because we do see that somebody who was in a cryo chamber clearly had a chest burster come out of them
Yes.
and crawl around.
Unless this is the one.
Well, that's the thing, because there's two bodies that potentially seem like they might have had a chest burster, so I don't know if there's only one xenomorph.
Right.
Yep.
Did you note that they said one died by toxin?
Because blue lips and suffocation.
Yes.
There's all these different causes of death for these people. Like some have been sucked dry by the tick thingies, and then I don't know. Like,
Did you catch a detail about how one was shot in the chest and then the head?
yeah, someone's
That's a classic execution. That's not good. Why? Who did that?
what happened here?
What happened here? I'm sure whatever happened here is part of why the ship went haywire and crashed in the first place.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure more details will follow. I do wonder about the ship's logs. That's the first thing you do if you're cursed. You go right to the ship's logs. And you're like, what the fuck's going on?
You go to the logs, and there's a guy with a complete carnage behind him going, "Liberate tutti ex inferis."
Has the ship been to hell? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. But the jump is outrageous.
It is
Do
crazy.
you know how fucked up Hirsch would have been when he slammed his ribs into that lip of concrete?
You mean Hermit?
Hermit?
Yeah.
Ouch. baby. Ouch. He would have busted ribs. I was kind of hoping he was going to say something along those lines, like I think I got busted ribs or something. but the maybe one of the most interesting moments one of the most compelling, scary moments is when that xenomorph comes out of that blacky ink spot in the ceiling, just blended in with it. And he's looking up there, and then you just see its teeth, and he's like, shit, and he runs, and it jumps down at the same time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've had dreams like this.
Whoa.
Where a xenomorph is hunting me, and it comes out from the ceiling. Like specifically, for some fucking reason, there was a hole in my shower ceiling, and it came down from there, and I could, like, it was just blackness, and it started approaching. Like, I have interesting dreams.
Spooky.
But yeah, it's a very, very cool scene, the way it's emerging from the darkness.
He's like, I like how he doesn't open fire. He just wants to get away. It's interesting. It shows definitely a lack of combat initiative, right? He's just like, I'm running. Yeah. Instead of being like, bang, 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 bang. Although he'd be dead if he did.
He's a medic, so.
Yeah. But he did have the wherewithal to reach for a sidearm. But yeah, when it chases Hermit, it's kind of awesome. The way it's on all fours, running at him and being a person and not CG, it made me happy.
Yeah, I'm still making up my mind about the way it moves and behaves.
Yep.
Because it's kind of awesome to see it be so fast and vicious and animalistic. Whereas I still do like it when it's like tall and slender and kind of lurking. Although this one does go into lurking mode too.
Yeah, it was in chase mode here.
It seems to kind of conveniently shift between whether there's main characters or disposable characters, and if it's in complete carnage mode or stalking mode.
Is this the part where we talk about the incongruity of the alien's behavior?
Maybe.
We should.
Yeah, we should.
So this actually has been a problem for the entire franchise. I was thinking back on this because it happens in the first movie, it kills everyone, but then it's trying to catch Ripley at the end.
Right.
So that doesn't make a ton of sense either, right?
Well,
so and in Aliens, it's like, oh, it's going to capture Newt and not kill Newt. It's going to capture. So it becomes a question of, and here's why I think it's difficult for us to track. The point we're making here is that sometimes the xenomorph wants to kill you, sometimes it wants to capture you for impregnation. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yes. I think that word works.
So how does it decide when it is? I have some theories, but I don't really know. What are your thoughts?
I don't really know either. I don't know if it's ever been thoroughly explained. And I kind of like that. It's an alien species. We don't know how they behave and what drives them. It seems like they will attack somebody that they consider a threat. Mm-hmm. And then somebody who maybe they're even able to detect who makes for a good host and who doesn't.
Like almost a health thing.
Yeah, like they can sense if this is a healthy individual.
Genes. You're not gonna. Like, will you die before the gestation period? Like, can you survive the part where it, let's call it what it is, slams a thing through your mouth and puts something in your chest? If you can't survive that part, then you're no good to us. I was thinking about it from a queen. So the queen kind of determines when it's time to replenish the ranks. And I think that these creatures, they operate on some kind of communication. They're also, what do you mean they cut the power, man? They're animals. We know they're decently intelligent. They can open doors and use elevators. I mean, I believe in some of the writing on the Alien franchise that they're as smart as a dog at least, and sometimes as smart as chimpanzees, they were saying. So if they're chimpanzee smart, that's kind of scary. That's pretty fucking scary. If they're smarter than that, I think humans are doomed. But I don't think they quite are.
Yeah,
they know enough to cut power. I don't know. Would a chimp know how to do that? Chimps hunt in tactics. They're vengeful.
Chimps eat smaller monkeys, and I don't like that.
It's brutal.
I don't like that.
It's brutal.
No,
it's very spooky too.
there's something because they're too human-like, and it's just disturbing to see them do that. But the xenomorphs, I do wonder because the thing is, in the first movie there is just the one, and it's mostly stalking, and then seemingly sometimes, especially when provoked, it will go into hunting mode and kill people. It's the deleted scene where Dallas gets captured and is taken to what seems to be a nest.
Right.
But the thing is a lone xenomorph able to produce more eggs? I doubt that. What can it do?
Only the queen can.
Yeah.
We know that from Aliens.
Or can under the right circumstances a drone transform into a queen or whatever? We don't really know how they work.
I think that's the way it would work, unless a queen is born a queen. Does it morph into a queen is the question. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes the queens are definitely born, like Ripley at the later point is carrying the queen, but that goes into the fourth one, and which is kind of nonsensical.
You mean ricocheting bullets off walls and hitting people? No, but
what I wanted to say is that in the first movie, the big chap's behavior seems a little bit like erratic of how it's, whether it's hunting, whether it's killing or not killing, and what it's doing. Whereas in Aliens, it seems like it's pretty much all controlled by the queen, because there's a lot of them, and the queen is just telepathically communicating to which ones, like obviously the drones and the warriors are going to kill the ones that pose a threat to the hive and their queen.
Right, different circumstances is what you're describing. Because if you have a lone xenomorph on this ship, I think it kills everybody.
Well,
but now that we know that there are eggs, maybe it won't kill everybody, because the Marines were literally in the hive, so it's going to kill all of you, because you're also wielding weapons. You're killing them. You're shooting them. You got fire. It's a threat. That's an immediate threat response.
The Marines were not. Oh, are you talking about the show now? Here.
No, in this second movie.
Yeah. In Aliens, yes.
They waltz into the goddamn resin cave.
They get fucked up. Yeah, they don't stand a chance.
Right, because they walk into a hive unbeknownst to themselves. They're like, oh, that must be where the colonists are. So it
stands like a goddamn town meeting.
So it stands to reason that they would 100%, right, that they would get wiped out in that sense. So I guess my point is, in Alien Earth, I don't think it's too crazy if the xenomorph is picking and choosing targets and then deciding when to grab people and when to not grab people.
Yeah, its behavior seems different in the way that is truly super vicious and brutal and fast, the way it's just going on a crazy rampage and killing everybody. And I don't know, maybe we'll get an explanation for that, or maybe we don't. Yeah, I don't.
Here's why. Think about it this way: when the aliens, when we are observing the alien in the film Aliens, we are observing them in a habitat that they've established, right?
Right.
When we're watching Alien, let me finish, if I may. When we're watching Alien, we're watching an alien in a situation where it has been born and taken away from all the other eggs, and now it's operating in this weird, out of its element spot, much like the alien is in Alien Earth. So I'm thinking a bunch of eggs. I think the aliens want you to chest burst right there with them so they can make their... I don't think they want you all spread out, but maybe they do. I don't know.
Well, what I want to say about how this one is behaving is that it makes sense for it to be, especially on the ship, it's alone, it goes into rampage mode.
Absolutely.
But once the ship has crashed, in the first episode, we see that the eggs are inside their containers. The crew did not move them outside. The crew did not take them out of the containers and put them just openly in the cargo hold. The xenomorph did.
Or Morrow did.
I don't think Morrow would have done that.
You don't think so?
Why would he take them out of the containers where they're securely...
To make them insecure.
What? But why?
I don't know.
I think Morrow is the only one who has any knowledge about this species, judging by the way he's behaving with the xenomorph later on. So I think that the alien took the eggs out and established a nest, because they now have also the blue mist covering them, which is like an alarm system or like an embryo, not embryo, like a placenta kind of membrane or covering over them, because the eggs actually produce that themselves. It's not like a technological thing.
Even though it looks like it.
It does look like it. That's a whole thing of like why it looks like that, because in the original movie they were trying to create some kind of a membrane thing, and Ridley Scott was having trouble coming up with like how to do that. It was getting too expensive, and then The Who, the band, was rehearsing their laser show in the next hall in the same studio lot. And they got invited to go and look at it, and were like, "Oh, can we borrow your laser equipment?" And that's how they came up with the cool fucking blue laser thing. But it's kind of they address, like Ridley Scott has talked about, how it's kind of weird that it looks technological, but it's supposed to be produced by the eggs themselves. So it's kind of like a mystery of how they work. But I like that they have brought it back here. I like that the eggs are still producing the thing, and it also does shut off and clearly alert the xenomorph at the end there. But my point here in all of this is that it has established a hive, which would make sense that its behavior would then change, because I think now its priority is to protect the hive and provide hosts. Yeah, provide hosts for the facehuggers that are in the eggs.
They know to survive, they have to propagate. It's just an instinct. Yeah. I think the behavior shift,
but it doesn't
makes
really
sense.
It doesn't shift.
It's true. It just kills a bunch of shit.
It goes a little back and forth, because sometimes it's in lurking mode, and then with the dinner party and the soldiers after that, it's just absolute fucking mayhem.
And it's not. I don't think the xenomorph is smart enough to understand it landed on a planet of humans.
No,
because if it did, it would probably try to hide. Like if it was dangerously smart, it would be like, shit, let me disappear for now, and let me skulk around at night. Right? But it lacks that. It's purely driven by instinct with some intelligence. So it's going to kill everything that could possibly interrupt the propagation of itself to make sure that the, as you say, newly established nest is secure. And then it's going to start with the facehuggers are waking up soon. It could be a timing thing that they just instinctively know. It could be a pheromone. It could be a clickety click 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 in their alien ears that tell them, hey, we're about to be born. I mean, you hear wild stories about coyotes howling and knowing how many fucking offspring to produce based on how many coyotes are dead. It's nuts. So if coyotes can do that shit, then I'm sure space monster.
Or if migratory birds just instinctually know how to fly thousands of miles into the right spot.
Right. I mean, the shit.
Animals can do crazy shit.
So I think it stands to reason that the xenomorph is probably operating in a way that may not necessarily track with us, but we don't really know all of its inner workings.
Right. Yeah. So. I don't need to necessarily know why it's behaving the way it does, because the inconsistency has been there all along. Mm-hmm. And it does sometimes seem to serve just plot convenience when it doesn't attack characters that are main characters that we don't want to die yet. But it's not always seemingly there for plot convenience, to which just adds to the feeling of like, this is an alien species. We don't know how it functions.
Yeah, I think I agree with you with one exception. As long as you do not contradict the fact that this thing would make such dumb decisions that it would just not evolutionarily survive.
Right.
As long as it's still doing things that make me go, okay, this is an effort to survive and to propagate. Survive, propagate, survive, propagate. That's all it should be doing. And the second it's not acting that way, it may be worth asking questions, I guess is my only point. But not a big deal, to be frank. But it chases him. He gets separated, and
he just barely makes it to the elevator. And I really like his acting here, to where he's just in a shock and trying to contact somebody on the radio and kind of blathering, and then realizing that his arm is all fucked up from the fall. He does it really well.
He's great. Yeah, he does a really good job. And then he comes across one of the SNR guys, which must feel great.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I found a guy. And then we get a really goofy moment.
Do you think it's goofy?
I do. A
The dinner party?
spaceship hit your building.
But it's these ultra rich entitled people who feel untouchable and who just want to have their dinner party.
It's too much. I get it. Rich people are bad, blah, blah, blah. Typical
Yeah,
Hollywood
it's-
bullshit.
It's a little on the nose.
But it's just like, come on, man. They're not fools. I mean,
I-
they might be fools, but they're probably. I don't know. They're dressed in weird 17th century. They look like fucking Mozart walking around. And then whenever that weirdo,
They're having
in
a
his-
little Marie Antoinette tea party.
I hope they get their heads cut off.
Well, they do.
They get their bodies cut off. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, but I just, whenever he says we belong to the same club regarding Boy Cavalier, I just literally said out loud, no fucking shit you do, because you're both weirdos.
Yeah, but he assumes that he's important enough to get a call from Cavalier himself
Yeah.
telling him that things are actually bad.
But the amount of devastation, it's just a little silly. It's just a little silly. We just talked about the devastation and the thousands of lives lost. And these people are in a building that could be collapsing at any second, and they're all just chilling.
But we don't really know how big this building is, how much of an impact they could feel. Maybe they're completely on the other side of the building. This guy says, what is his name? Bergerfeld, that he's cleared all the other apartments, so there's still been other people left. It's not like this party gang is the only ones left in the building who are just being completely oblivious to what's going on. There were in the first episode, there's people underground, in the underground floors who are still there. People will be just strangely like
Placid.
ignorant to their surroundings. Like they have an important
They'll
dinner
be
party.
strangely placid.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean,
Look, you're making decently logical points. I'm just struggling to know that as that thing was streaking out of the sky, the size of it, and it's slamming into your building with the force of a bomb, it's just a little silly.
No, it is. I agree. I feel like it's a little goofy, and they're doing all the goofiness just to have a cool looking scene where these
Foppish dandies.
Yeah, where their powdered wigs and fancy dresses, where they're sitting at the table looking like an 18th century dinner party painting, and actually they're ripped apart by a xenomorph. It's also ridiculous that they're still sitting up on their seats and placed there like dolls.
It's ridiculous that the guy was cut in half minutes ago and he's still conscious when he's crawling across the floor.
Yeah, I mean, not minutes ago, seconds ago. He's kind of gotten far considering how short of a time it's been.
Considering all of his blood is in that room somewhere and not in his body when he gets cut in half. It is very silly. But it is rewarding when the xenomorph goes in there and tears them all asunder. It's great.
Yep.
And what about that poor guy? You had his name. What is it?
Bergerfeld.
Dude.
Yeah, his face. I was not expecting to see a close-up of a ripped apart face. Ooh,
It was
that
had
rough.
Thing vibes, the way it was thrashing him around by his head.
Yeah.
Very much.
I do like the whole repeating the whole xenomorph in the background, and you don't really realize, like, it becomes a part. It looks like it's a part of the statue
Yeah, it's cool.
until it starts moving, and you're like, oh fuck, because that's been a thing since the first movie where it blends into its surrounding and then it moves, and you're like, oh god, that's not a part of the ship.
Yeah. Well, our little medic boy, our little hermit, he gets rescued by none other than Morrow, wielding a beautiful las weapon that just puts the xenomorph on its ass. Bzzz, like a straight constant beam weapon. It's really cool. That melee, that scrum where the xenomorph's going after him is just nuts.
To be fair, Hermit would be dead.
He would be dead.
This thing just killed all these people in 5 seconds.
Yep.
But with Hermit, it's conveniently thrashing
we do
him
know
around.
at the end of the episode it does take him and run off.
Right.
So maybe it's got other plans for Hermit.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that might be why it didn't
That
kill
might
him. It may have assessed him in that moment
Maybe it smelled that all these people are drunk. They're bad hosts. They're all alcoholics. They make for poor hosts. Time to just kill them.
What an anti-alcohol message. Do you want to end up like these guys?
I wonder what the qualifications are. I'm sure smoking and drinking and drugs, anything like that, is like out of the question. You can't be a good host for a xenomorph.
Yeah, well, let's think of the people that did get impregnated. No, there's a lot of smoking in Alien 1.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of maybe smoking. Lungs aren't that important.
We don't need your... Yeah, I mean, we're birthing out of your chest. I don't think we need your... Well, I don't know. Yeah. You'd think they would. But back to the action at hand. Morrow got some wacky tech.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the problems with prequels. You're like, where's that tech?
I know. Why didn't they have this on the Nostromo?
Probably because that's a much different mission.
Yes, it is.
Like, Morrow's mission is to go get samples. That is not the mission of the Nostromo. They're responding to a distress call, right?
Yeah, and they're towing a refinery.
They're truckers in space, space truckers. And then the Colonial Marines don't want to capture shit. They just want to blow it away. So they just got... But no beam weapons in Aliens, which is a little silly. Like, if you got beam weapons here, you're top... But maybe not. Maybe the Colonial Marines aren't as funded as the cyborg of Weyland-Yutani, which is going to put all its money into his ass, right? Yeah. So it's possible. Like, again, it doesn't bother me that much. Too often people say, well, there's a laser here, there should be a laser here. But is it the same exact situation? Is it Weyland-Yutani's guy responsible for this giant specimen mission? Or is it underfunded Colonial Marine force that has small arms and still plenty of devastating weapons that killed many of aliens? So, I don't know.
Yeah, when you really dig down on it, they are sent in Aliens by the company, and Burke is there, and their mission is to try and get some of them back. So,
yeah.
But it doesn't bother me either that there's some pushes too far with the technology. Like, as long as it's not completely different and ludicrous.
But they're sent by... Are they sent by... I gotta look up the Colonial Marines.
Because they're responding to the settlement there, Hadley's Hope.
Yes.
Which is a Weyland-Yutani terraforming operation.
It is, but Weyland-Yutani doesn't have operational command of that. That's why Gorman does, right? Burke doesn't have command of that mission. So I'll read it to you from the wiki. The United States Colonial Marine Corps, later known as the United Americas Colonial Marine Corps, their Colonial Protection Act, commonly known as just Colonial Marines, is the United Americas primary force in readiness, founded in 2101. Wow, so it's only been around 19 years as of this.
Oh, 2101.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So 19 years. They've only been around 19 years as of this episode, which is interesting.
Huh,
so,
yeah,
so they're not... Weyland-Yutani doesn't fund them and it doesn't own them, is my point.
Right.
So Weyland-Yutani is probably, as is the case, private militaries are often very well armed because of all the money compared to some of these other fighting forces, even if they don't. And in this world, we know that corporations have all the technology. It's not like government military technology supersedes Weyland-Yutani's. It just doesn't. And I think that's why I don't think it's that crazy. For this android, for this cyborg to have a beam weapon. Sorry, that was a real long tangent, but I've been thinking a lot about it, and I wanted to get it off my chest. Well,
this is for all the nerds who are like, well, this shouldn't exist here. and me too, because I'm like, he does have, this is pretty cool, but I don't think it's
fucking awesome.
Does it make sense that he would, also, what is this bag spray stuff that?
Awesome.
It's awesome.
By the way, when Hermit's like, thanks, and Morrow goes, and blasts him, I was like, let's go. Let's fucking
And Hermit
go.
is like, he's like, thank you. Like,
thank
you so much.
How about this?
Nope. Goodbye.
By the way, I hope he adjusted it for Hermit Constitution before he shot him, because he had it on Xenomorph knockout. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was only just a one small burst compared to like a continuous one for the Xenomorph, but
you don't want to use the thing you don't want to use the stun setting that knocks out Klingons on the little skinny humans. You got to be careful there, man. Yeah, I don't think he adjusted it. That's not Morrow's style, but
Yeah, it does make sense that Morrow would have this kind of technology because
Totally.
I'm sure he's the main guy who was there to even acquire all these samples in the first place.
Of course
Wherever
he is.
they've been sent to, he's been handling this shit for a while.
did you catch Morrow's designation in the first episode?
Designation?
Well, he says to the Scottish guy, who's like, "This is a bunch of bullshit." He says, "This is a security matter." So I think Morrow's like a security officer.
He is a security officer.
That's
he
cool.
does say that when he's talking to Mother.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a friggin' security officer. Yikes. There's another couple of awesome moments with the xenomorph. And dude, when those guys roll up on Morrow and he's like, "Calm down, friend." He's like, "I'm not your fucking friend."
It's a nice
cool.
callback to the first episode where the guys who he chains up, one of them is like, something refers to him as brother, and
Yeah,
Morrow
yeah.
says, "I'm not your brother," and he has kind of a look when this guy responds, "I'm not your friend." He's like, "Oopsie, maybe I shouldn't have been so mean to these guys."
Yeah, for sure.
It's a very different situation where there is a xenomorph about to wake up and massacre all of you.
Yep. And by the way, the xenomorph not attacking Morrow. What do we think about that? Because that's shit where it breaks out of his stupid little thing. I like how that's not some indestructible thing. I like how the xenomorph gets out of it right away.
Yeah.
He's trying to move quickly, and then these guys come upon him with guns, and he's like, "This is going to be bad," and it just annihilates them. I like how it annihilates them while Morrow's shot in the forefront, in the foreground, and just madness is happening behind him, and he just sits there still sweating.
Yeah, he does say something about just stay calm, they can sense fear.
Yeah.
So maybe he's and when the ship is crashing, he's humming to himself and clearly like
Interesting.
trying to soothe himself, trying to distract himself, and maybe just not show fear.
The shot of this thing over the top of his shoulder is really awesome.
It is awesome, although the face.
Why would it kill him?
The
Why
face
would it not
still
kill him?
bothers me a little bit.
I know, but
It's a
why
little
wouldn't it
boxy.
kill him?
I don't know because Morrow can't
Because we
diet.
because we already discussed why.
Right.
Because it doesn't make a ton of sense.
It
Let's be real.
doesn't. Yeah.
Because he's already shown he's aggressive towards it. He used weapons on it.
Yeah, and he has a hand knife blade
Wait a
coming
minute.
out.
It
Yes.
tried to get into the mother room to go after him. We don't know why. It just did. So presumably it was going to kill him then. So what's changed between that moment and this moment?
That is true.
Right. So now besides that, the only other, now with that scene aside from the first episode, I was thinking, well, what if he zapped it from behind, it didn't see him, and then it woke up in a bag, and then it tore out of the bag and just saw a bunch of dudes with guns and one guy without a gun. So it killed all the guys with guns and then took off. Like that I could swallow, even though it's still a little bit bullshit. But the fact that we already know it knows what he looks like, the xenomorph knows what Morrow looks like and tried to get into the mother chamber to kill him, makes me go, well, why wouldn't it kill him now? What's changed? That's all.
Yeah, there's some moments that are definitely a little
But it looked cool.
silly. It does look cool.
It looked cool. By the way, just the chaos when Wendy finally hooks up with Hermit, the chaos in the hallways is just like, holy shit.
Yeah, they say that there is a bear.
Body,
The
more or less.
bear is loose. I don't know. I can't remember where it started. Like that, there's an animal like a bear or something. Oh yeah, the claw marks, to where Wendy's saying like bear claws. I think the internet, at least partially, is now calling this xenomorph bear too,
Okay.
as a nickname.
That's cute.
I saw that in a couple posts.
There's a moment where Hermit is in this museum and they superimpose these shots of a famous baseball player, a World Series, a Hall of Famer named Reggie Jackson. And the name of this episode, Mr. October, is referring to, I know some of you don't care about baseball, but what they're talking about is that the playoffs happen in October, and Mr. October is saying, okay, you're clutch. Like we can count on you in October when the playoffs, when the game is on the line. And that's what Hermit's talking about. Like his father said, in October is what's the actual line that Hermit says? He's like, you get your chance in October, you get your chance to shine, or something like that.
The quote is, sometimes the world gives you a moment to shine, and if you do, there's a name for that kind of hero.
Mr.
And
October.
the dad called him Mr. October.
Got it, yeah. And Reggie Jackson is somebody I liked as a kid. I watched him on the California Angels as a lad in the 80s. I just liked that he was number 44 for some reason. I thought that was so cool. I don't know why. It's a weird kid shit. I was like, I like that guy, even though I was a Red Sox fan. But
I've seen some criticism about this scene of why he would, after just almost getting killed, wander off into a random room and reminisce about his dad and baseball. But it kind of makes sense because he was zapped with whatever crazy gun that is, and he's in shock. He just wanders off somewhere else, and he did see the xenomorph be incapacitated by Morrow, so he might assume that he's just taken off and it's not a risk anymore.
Yeah,
it's still like
it's a bit whimsical.
It's a bit cutesy.
it's a bit boy cavalier, but I was just like, wait, does this guy love Reggie Jackson and there happens to be a signed a Reggie Jackson World Series ball? That's super ridiculous. But maybe he's just a huge baseball fan and knows about the history of the sport and thought that was cool.
Right.
That's what I was trying to imagine it as. Reggie Jackson, for the quick baseball nerds who probably already know this, or people who are just a little curious, he hit 3 home runs in one game in the World Series, which is pretty amazing. That's only been done 4 times. And there's a lot of baseball played every year. And it was once done by Babe Ruth, who maybe you heard of, Reggie Jackson, Albert Pujols, and Pablo Sandoval did it. So there are your 4 guys that did it. But Reggie Jackson did it in 1977, Mr. October. There's your quick little sports aside. Back to the xenomorphs killing action before my wife melts in her seat because I brought up sports.
I don't mind. I just don't understand any of it. I don't.
I'm just teasing you. So yeah, Reggie Jackson. He's fucking awesome. I like him. He's still kicking too. I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
Cool.
So
so now they finally meet, and Wendy's almost giddy at the fact that her brother is really there. Yeah,
she does a good job with that.
And she's trying to hide it. She's trying to be like, "Oh, we're just come with us," and slightly does all the blathering immediately.
Yes,
we're synthetic. Like we don't.
He totally blows up her spot. It's your sister. It's
really
like, dude,
does.
What? But that's some kid shit.
Yeah, it definitely is.
His sister's name is Marcy. Don't you dare. That's your sister. That's very kid shit.
That is very kid shit. Because he's like, you weren't telling him, so I did. I handled it for you. So
we promised to discuss this moment and if it works for us. And it has to, does this moment work for you? Does the big reveal, does the way Alex Lothar and Sydney Chandler do this scene, does it work for you? How are the actors doing? Do you like the dialogue? Does it make sense? What do you think of all this right here? This is a big moment in this show.
Yeah, but the question is that have we built up enough emotional weight for their big reunion to be impactful at this point?
Yep.
And to go back to the initial experience of thinking that this was the first episode, I was like, what are we doing here? Why are we already having the big emotional reunion thing? And like, I don't feel anything. I'm supposed to feel something at this.
Because we watched it out of order.
Yeah, because we fucked up. But now I do feel a little more. I feel, especially after watching this multiple times now, I'm like, yeah, I actually kind of like that we're doing it already at this point. Because I wouldn't want this to become the through line and the whole point of the show of like getting these two together. I mean, they do get separated again at the end of the episode, but I like that we handle this kind of soon-ish. It might be a little bit too soon to where I don't really fully feel the weight, but I don't mind it.
I think it's good.
Yep.
So I think that you bring up a very good point. It was a point I also wanted to bring up, but you beat me to the punch. And that is, I do not want this series being the will she tell him, will she won't tell him. Right. That is so contrived and such bullshit. And by the way, it would be completely unrealistic for a child to not say, I am your sister.
Yep.
I love you. I'm not going to die. Isn't that wonderful? That's a kid.
Right.
It makes complete sense. I think it coming out of the bag in the second episode alleviates that will she, won't she bullshit.
Right. So we get to do something hopefully much more interesting
Yes.
than that.
Right, which is continue to develop these characters, which is continue to develop the show, which is continue to develop the science fiction ideas put forth with the hybrids, to see where everything goes, to see what Morrow is up to. And yes, he does get snatched away in the last scene by the alien. It takes him in fucking leaps. It's like shit.
I wonder where it's leaping to since the eggs are right there, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess
Also,
we'll find out.
I do like that Hermit initially obviously is like, no, what the fuck? My sister's dead. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? He doesn't believe it immediately because who would? And also he's been through some shit, so everything must feel quite surreal at this point. But
Right.
I do like that we don't stretch that on forever because he does the exact thing that I hope people would do when they're trying to test somebody's or like figure out if somebody is who they claim to be. And immediately he goes for asking questions that only his sister would know. And Wendy replies with exactly the right things. And quickly we arrive to the realization from Hermit that, yes, this is in fact his sister.
Mm-hmm.
I like that we don't stretch that on any further than it needs to.
I completely agree. Onto the egg nest where they walk upon the eggs. Great moment. But I like when there's a moment where they're there amongst the eggs before they break that tech-looking membrane thing that you said is like a warning system. Wendy reaches up and grabs her head. Meanwhile, we see these great, what I assume is a drone bombing through the hallways, POV shot of the
Yeah.
hallways turning and shit as it just flies down the hall. Because I think there's communication between the eggs and the damn xenomorph, and like she intercepts it somehow.
She can hear it.
Yeah, she
I think she
grabs
can
her
just-
head.
I think she can just hear the way they're communicating, and the hallway running shots, the xenomorph POV.
It's awesome.
It's awesome, and it's pretty much Alien 3, but done well,
Correct.
done better. It used to be. It was kind of
That's
silly
a
the way
great
it was
point.
like spinning in the hallway, like also going into the ceiling. I'm like, what is it doing? And it didn't help that it was like a small dog-looking thingy running around. It was still scary, but not as scary.
I could see it as if you were doing a face hugger, I could see it rolling around.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a great video game, AVP, and whenever you could play the aliens and you'd start as the face hugger, you could wall crawl, and then if you could get onto a marine, you became a xenomorph. It was awesome.
That's cool.
And
Is that the one where you have to crawl outside of a chest? Or like tear your way through out of a chest as a chest burster?
I don't remember that part
Oh.
of the game, if it was part of the game. But you could play an alien, a predator, or a colonial marine. The predators were fucking ridiculous. But the aliens were the most fun because when you started as a face, you could stick on walls and shit. So you'd wait above a bulkhead opening and just leap on a guy when he walked through, and he was gone. It was great. But no, it's a really cool scene. And there's some movement on the leathery opening of the egg, suggesting it's going to be time soon.
Yeah, and I like that Hermit is kind of looking at it and then pulls back and is like, let's call it in. Yeah,
he's like, "Ugh."
don't look at it. Good instinct there. Don't look at it any closer.
I would never get that close.
I would not.
It's
Good
insane.
God.
Insane.
Especially after it moves.
Nope. See you later. I'm out. Give me the fire and get me out of here. But there you have it. That's Mr. October. It's funny. On the last episode, I said, well, the second one's not quite as good. And it isn't, but I still enjoy it. And I enjoy it a lot more now than I did when I first saw. Well, Out of Order doesn't really count. We have to scrap that. But I was like, the second episode's kind of just okay. And I still think it's pretty decent. I still think the first episode is better than this one. But I still think this is pretty good. I don't see like this big dropping in quality,
No, I don't either.
which is nice.
No, because
it keeps me hopeful.
Yeah, and this is like it goes right into where the first episode left off.
You got it.
It's just a continuation.
Well, we'll be covering the next one in a few days, and we'll be
Yep.
dropping that one as well. Like I said, we're going to do one episode each time, so make sure you like and subscribe if you've been enjoying the content. If you don't do YouTube, if you're just in the audio, you can do that. But if you're in the audio and you want to jump over to YouTube, you can do that, or vice versa. But just look up The Lost Drive-In on your favorite podcasting app, and you'll find us. We're on Spotify. We're all over the place, YouTube, whatever. And we've been off YouTube for months. We're trying to get back to it on some level. So there you have
Yeah,
it.
and I fixed my light now. It's not as terrible as the first one. I'm sorry
That
about
was
the
rough. That
terrible
was
lighting because I hate lights on my face. It makes me completely shut down.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all.
You should see when I hear it. Whenever she annoys me, I just hit her with a flashlight and she freezes like a deer. All right. This has been a ton of fun. Thanks to everybody who commented and
Yes, thank you.
who've been supporting the show. We really appreciate it. And we hope you enjoyed our coverage, our continued coverage of Alien Earth. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.